Barbados, played cricket in Antigua, I played cricket in the States as well. I am also a member of the Blackhawks. Kofi James is my teammate. I've been at Liberta for 3 years now, and I'm loving it at the club. I have also played for Orlando Galaxy in minor league last year, and I'm basically hoping that I can get further into my career as a cricketer.
Thank you, Amar. Kofi, I'll start with you. I know you're a teacher as well by profession.
I'm also a teacher.
So how do you balance the two? I mean, being a cricketer these days is a full-time job, and how do you balance teaching and playing cricket?
Well, for me, it's not so hard, because I live in Liberta, I work in Liberta as a teacher, I play cricket in Liberta, so everything is
in one area.
So it's easy to get around, easy to get from work. Work is literally next to training, so as soon as school finishes at 3, I just take a few steps over to the Liberta school, Liberta playing field, ball leaf, as you call it. So it's not that hard, but now as a professional cricketer, whenever I'm traveling for cricket, I did one vacation from school, like break from school, because it's a government job, so they give me a sports leave, and it's all good, so it's not a hassle or problem.
Okay. So the authorities look favorably at a situation like that, which is a good thing. So they recognize that cricket is part of our DNA, and so when the need arises for you to travel out, they give it a space.
Yeah.
Good thing. So where did it all start, Kofi? Give us a little more detail of your background in cricket, how it started, where you are at the moment, and then we'll speak some more about where you want to be later.
Well, it started off as far back as I can remember. Like really far. My father is a cricketer. He was a cricketer, passed away.
Well-known Hardy James.
Yeah, so I've been playing cricket, like most youngsters growing up on the streets, in the pasture with the friends. At school, I figured that's where I really sank in. At primary school, sank into the cricket because, we didn't play much of other sports at primary school, just tennis and cricket mostly. A little bit of football and basketball here and there. But mostly cricket and tennis. And I was the star of the school, I was excelling a lot in cricket at primary school. So, and my parents, I have to give them credit, they were very supportive.
They
never stopped me from playing cricket, ever.
Good.
Even with exams, still play cricket. Sometimes I even spend more time playing cricket than actually doing schoolwork. And they never really stopped me from playing cricket. My grades were good, so that was a plus also. So yeah, I just...
Well, that was the driver. I mean, if your grades are good and you're balancing the bookwork with the cricket, I don't see why they would venture to stop you, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, my mom and dad, they never stopped me from playing cricket. They never give me a pause or anything, no grounding, anything like that. So I kept playing continuously. As I go into secondary school now, I got introduced to the hardball, because at a young age,
you're playing softball cricket.
I went here in the Technical Cricket Academy.
Oh, okay.
And at a young age, we only used the softball.
Yes, I remember that.
Hardball to the older guys. So when I went to secondary school, I actually started playing hardball cricket. Probably second form also, because I couldn't get the team in first one. I was fresh with hardball still. Yeah, so second form I really got into it. And then that's where my cricket really started to go. And I started to train regularly hardball, played for combine school for a couple of years, went to Liberta, and my cricket got really developed at Liberta, I must say. A lot of fine-tuning happened, and I'm still fine-tuning myself, still working on everything, but a lot has happened since I went to Liberta. The knowledge of the game increased, and that's a big part.
Big part.
Talent-wise, I find myself as a very fortunate person You know, it's like it's in my DNA, talented for all sports. So the talent wasn't really a problem going on playing cricket. It was mostly the mental part that really developed.
And that's
you know,
that's the critical part.
Yeah, with a lot of international players around you, players that been to different parts of the world and cricket, if you don't learn anything, well, that's on you.
True.
You know, that's on you. So my cricket developed in Liberta a lot. I represented the national team. I represented Leewards. Still representing Leewards. I really think that my career, like, I feel like my career just started to take off. So, you know, I just have to keep putting in the hard work, keep working smartly also. You know, try and be as fit as possible, hitting the gym, try not to get injured, because as a lot of people keep saying, there's cricket now, there's a lot of money. Cricket career can be as broad as
you want it to be.
You know, so you can't afford to be injured now. So, you know, keeping fit is a key. Going to the gym and so forth is a part of my schedule right now. So yeah.
Okay, we gonna get back to you in a little bit. Amal,
Yes, please.
tell us exactly how your career started and at what stage you are at this present moment.
Well, my career started from a young age as well in Antigua. I grew up playing cricket at home, always used to play by myself, or used to play with my older brother, Dune, Nathaniel. We used to play cricket inside the house, break a couple windows. Always used to,
That's
you know,
typical.
tell us, hey, stop playing cricket in the house. We say, okay, mommy, by the time she leaves, cricket again. We're always obedient, but when it came to cricket, we always just had that love.
Yeah.
And growing up in Antigua, I went to Technical Cricket Academy as well, before I left Antigua in 2002 and went to Barbados. Going to Barbados, I was playing hardball from the time I went there at the age of 7. So I was playing hardball in primary school. I played primary school cricket with a lot of the guys that play for West Indies now, Craig Baffett and Shea Hope, and those guys played the same primary school tournament. We call it Herman Griffith. We played that growing up in primary school. And then when I got into secondary school, I played for Foundation Secondary. That's where I would say that I had a lot of my secondary school cricket. I played with current USA vice captain Aaron Jones. He was once my captain in secondary school. I played with former West Indies under-19 player Jerome Jones. I played with Joe for Archer. We grew up together at secondary school. We played together. So cricket was always there. I always loved it. I always played it. My parents supported me. I always had the talent, and I just needed to put in a lot of work. After leaving secondary school, I continued playing. I went and played for Police Cricket Club. And when I went to Police Cricket Club, it was kind of new because I was playing first division cricket in Barbados, which is on the highest levels. So going into a senior club at that young age of 17 or so, it's kind of tough because now you're no longer at school where you're a baby, you know, you're with big guys.
Right.
So you just have to try to learn as quick as possible. The first time I played at that high level, it was really tough. I remember crying because Solomon Ben bowled me 12 balls, and I played 12 different shots and couldn't hit a ball. And after the game, I remember Coach Reefer said, you know, it's your first time at this level. You know, don't take it on. Bounce back strong. And
that's the idea.
Doing that, and it's been going good. I used to come back to Antigua and play cricket. I first came back to Antigua in 2015. That was the first time I came back and played cricket, and I was playing for the All Saints Pythons at the time with Azari, and you know, things were going good at All Saints, but I wanted to carry my cricket to the next level. And you know, with the invitation from Coach Kenny Benjamin, the likes of Kofi telling me to come over, the likes of Karima and Kadim and, you know, Jimbo trying to get me to come over to Liberta, you know, I made the move, and it's a move that I haven't regretted. Since I've gone to Liberta, the mental part of the game has increased a lot. I'm so comfortable in my game. I still can be even more comfortable, but I find I understand my game to a point where, like, you know, I understand the basics more. And the mental part of cricket has improved a lot since I went to Liberta. Coach always emphasized, Mr. Kenneth Benjamin, he always emphasized on, you know, leaving out the ego. playing simple cricket.
Yep.
Do the basics for a long period of time. And
That's the
that
key.
is one of the main things that I have used over the last 3 years at Liberta. Also, I went to the United States for about the last 6-7 years. I've been going there for a while. I've been playing cricket. My brother lives up there. As you know, he formerly Redlands on the 15th period in Nathaniel. He brings me to the States. I played cricket within Miami. I played cricket in Texas. I played cricket, all over the United States. And, I've done pretty well when I go up there. So.
But those visits to the United States, though, Amal, are those paid visits when you play professionally over there? Do you get paid for playing?
When I go over there to the States, I get paid. My brother normally organizes the club that I play for or the team that I play with. I get payments. But last year was the first time I would say I got a contract. I got contracted for Orlando Galaxy because it was the first minor league ever.
Okay.
And it was a good experience. I didn't do as great as I would have liked to, but it was a good experience last year. Unfortunately, I didn't get contracted this year, but I see it as a blessing because I'm able to spend a little more time with my club. And as we're going into the semi-final and final, it's good to be here with the team and be able to contribute.
Good.
I, for one, I'm also a teacher, like Kofi. I teach at the Clare House Secondary School, and the balance between the teacher and the cricket, for me, is very good. It's very easy. It's very simple. School finishes at 1:30 for me. I'm in secondary school. I do some training in the morning times. Sometimes I get away from school when I have a break. The principal will allow me to go and do some training in the morning. So I would train with Vincent Benjamin in the morning, but I always have time to go to Liberta after. Training at Liberta stops when the sun goes down. If the sun goes down at 10, that's when practice is finished.
Good.
So you come at 6:15, 6:30, you still get 20-30 minutes of batting. You still get some feeling, you still get some catching. And with the likes of all the international players, they have the Kareem Magores, they have Hayden Walsh and Joaquin Cornwall. The guys make the environment a very fitting one. You have Kofi, who's now in the Leeward Island setup. He always makes himself available when he's home. So, it's really great.
So it's a great environment.
Great environment to be in.
You guys are pretty fortunate to be within the Liberta Cricket Club, because from ever since I was playing as a 13-year-old in Liberta always have a strong cricket setup, and they always make it possible for youngsters to come through, and that is one of the things I always admire about the club. Now, you guys have had the opportunity to play. Kofi, I know in your case you used to be part of the combined school setup. When I was an advisor there to you guys, I know you played with Azari. How proud are you guys to see the improvement and the fact that he has made it to the highest level? How do you view that? And if does that inspire you to want to get to that level as well?
Of course. Like, if it doesn't inspire you to see one of your fellow teammates and players make it, if it doesn't inspire you to reach to the highest level too, well, that's clearly not your ambition. Because seeing somebody that you grew up playing cricket with reach to that level, coming back, playing against him again, probably even hanging out with him. As a cricketer, you want to be in his position to go away, come back with more knowledge, experience. So you want to know how it feels. You want to be there, and it's just a good thing to see your fellow teammates, your fellow players, even your rivals from the same country go away to come back. It's always a good thing to learn from them, even though they don't play the same club as you. It's always good to learn from them, even train with them if you can, and then carry back whatever knowledge you bring to your team, even your school if you teach, to whatever you do. It's always a good thing.
Good. So what's it like though when you have to face up against each other?
Well, competition, for sure. That's what we look forward to a lot in cricket, to be honest. Especially in local level. I would never say it's easy, but being senior cricketers now in local level, you reach a certain age, you reach a certain height, professional. you want to play against other cricketers like Alzari and
You want to
Devon
play
Thomas.
against the best.
Yes, you want to play against the best.
Yes.
When I meet Bethesda, it's always good to play against Devon Thomas. When you meet Arsene, it's always good to play against Alzari. You want them to be there.
Right.
You know, because the competition is, you know, sometimes we even talk on our private chats and bet and give challenges and so forth. So it's always good. It's always a good stuff to play against them.
Definitely.
And I'll ask you the same question. You grew up with Craig Bratwood being your captain at one stage, and you played with guys like Joffo. I never knew you played with Shea Hope as well. So how do you feel to see the level that these guys have reached? And does that also inspire you to want to get to that level?
Well, most definitely. You know, growing up, you're seeing everyone, you're playing with everyone, you know, you're just enjoying it at that young age. And then in a couple of years, you hear X and Y, or this person has reached to the next level. This person is now captain in the West Indies team. And you tell yourself, wow, you know, we used to play cricket together. I often say, just yesterday I was looking at a photo. 11 years ago was when I graduated from secondary school. And right next to me was Joe Archer, you know, him and two of my other friends. And I looked at the picture yesterday and I was like, if you told me in 2011 that he was going to play for England, we probably would have chuckled.
Yeah.
We would have known what he was capable of doing playing cricket.
Right.
But looking at the picture, you're telling yourself, wow, he played for England. He won a World Cup for England. And, you know, when I see the likes of Aaron Jones now being the vice captain of the USA team, you know, those things make me proud, because these are guys who are just a message away, a call away, you know, being able to talk to them. Also currently in my Liberta team, when you see Kofi go on to get a Leeward Islands contract for the second year in a row, you know, it makes you feel good. I remember meeting Kofi when I used to come in like 2015, 2016. He always told me, hey, one of these days I can get in the system. We're going to get into the Leeward Islands setup. And to see it happen after all the hard work and dedication I put in, you know, it makes you proud. To see like the Karima being a normal player in the Liberta setup, and then getting to the international level with USA, and now getting the contract as well. Those things, you know, make you feel like, hey, I train with him.
You're progressing.
I play with him. You see him progress. And like Liberta, again, the focus of Liberta is not to prepare us for local cricket. Everyone keeps thinking that, you know, we want to win championships. Winning championships is one thing. Winning championships just comes, it just happens. We are focusing on playing at the higher level. So by focusing on playing at the higher level, that's a brand of cricket that we're going to play. And that's when we normally, you know, end up victorious.
I remember when Liberta won the last championship, there were talks in the media about breaking up the team is too strong. And when you guys hear talks like that, how do you react? Because, I mean, it's no fault of yours that you have a strong unit.
Definitely.
You came in a club that's very disciplined. They have a system which works for them from ever since. And it's great to see the kind of success that you guys have had over the years. And currently in the 4-day, there's the 2-day setup that's being played. Where you guys are placed at the moment?
First. Currently plays first at the moment.
Yeah.
We haven't lost a game. We probably just lost one first innings. But we won first innings, or have won the games for all the games that we've played this season. And in the team, it's not like the same players are, you know, performing all the time. Yes, we have our stand-up players, but we also have others who put up their hand when the team needs them the most. And that's a good thing about the club.
Yeah, because my next question is going to be, you guys have been a bit more fortunate than some of the other players. You have at the helm a former West Indian pace bowler in Kenneth, who is a workhorse, and I mean, I don't know how he does it, but he is always there 24/7. One of the hardest workers in Antigua when it comes to cricket. So you guys have had the benefit of getting tips from Kenneth. You also have, in the current setup, Mr. Cornwall, who is a recent West Indies player. How does that synergy work with you guys bouncing idea of these fellas?
Well, to be honest, as you say, the correct word is fortunate. You know, it's very fortunate to be around a setup with that amount of players representing at the highest level. You know, and we have players that probably may not reach that level in terms of playing, but in terms of knowledge of the game, we still have players like Wilden Cornwall around. We still have Hayden Walsh. You know, a lot of players, and a lot of the players that played before I came also that probably didn't even make it, that were senior enough. Like when I went to Liberty first, we had Cleton Payne that now plays for Empire, Stanley Simon, Kadim Phillip. All these players had already represented the country, some Leewards and West Indies. So being around that setup is very fortunate. But as I said before, if you don't learn, it's up to you. You know, a lot of players still come to Liberty and, you know, that didn't learn much because of the attitude. So it's the attitude that counts.
I was just going to mention that, because if you're not disciplined and if you don't have a focus and a goal, you could easily fall by the wayside. So the key is focus and commitment.
Yeah, the attitude is right. Like sometimes, well, what I realize, even if it's one international player in your club, or even none at all, as long as you stick together as a group, like hang up together as a group, talk a lot of cricket as a team, learn from each other, your cricket will develop. And we do that a lot at Liberty. We stay back even something with the 10, 11 o'clock, playing dominoes, sometimes worry, ping pong, pool, and we just talk.
So you bond.
And we bond.
That unity is very...
And that's, to me, that's where you learn the most. When you talk, because somebody say, hey, Kofi, realize you fall over too much today, you know, and they challenge you tomorrow, and then you come and tomorrow and do better, you know, so having the players around is very fortunate, but at the end of the day, it's how much you want to learn and how much you want to take in.
That is key.
To add to what Kofi's saying,
you have to listen.
To add to what Kofi's saying, I love the camaraderie at the club, you know, we look up for each other, we want to see each other do better, so we always challenge, you always tease a person, you always try to get under their skin, not to irritate them, but for them to realize, hey, you could do better. I remember when I was in Barbados, as I told you earlier, and I went to police for the first time. A gentleman by the name of Larry Bob. After cricket, I was the first day after cricket, Saturday, I was getting ready to go home. Cricket just finished, I pack my bag, I get up, and I'm about to walk out. And he said, youngster, come right here. I was like, come right here. He said, you cannot leave cricket first. Sit down and learn something about cricket. Any one of us is going to carry you home. And from that day, every time cricket was finished, I would sit down and talk and mingle, and they said to me, a lot of your cricket that you're going to learn is off of the field.
No, but this is very true. I could tell you from my personal experience, when I started playing for Liberty Cricket Club at the age of 13, I was very young. And I always talk about Mohammed. Mohammed Shahs was a great inspiration for me. Not only you learn a lot from going to movies with them, hanging out with them and so forth, but when you bat with Mohammed, you just feel so comfortable because he talk you through. If a bowler is giving you trouble, he tell you get a single and go down, let you handle it and watch and you learn. And I mean, it was refreshing, and it's nice to know that same thing still continue in the Liberty Club.
And a good example of that is with Rocky McConnell. Like, sometimes it's so easy to bat with him because, like, I remember one time in Thursday, you know, I'm accustomed to open with Avia and a couple of you and so forth. So one of the seasons we went in the Thursday, and we been in Thursday for a while, so we decided to go in as a team in Barton. We won that year, and Jimbo decided, you know, I'm going to open. And I've been just, like, I think I scored 50, but just the way he was batting alone, nobody realized I was just giving him the shot. It was so easy for me because they were so focused on out in him. I just came on strike. By the time we look up,
take the pressure off.
And he on like 80 something. So all the pressure is off me. I'd have to try anything because he's already hitting the ball. So he makes it way easier. And not just hitting the ball too, he's batting with experience. So it makes it easier for you now to just rotate the shot. He takes on the bowlers, when to take a single, he talks to you, he tell them X, Y, Z. So as I say with Mohammed, it's the same thing.
Yeah, man, it's
not only with him too, like players like Devon Thomas, playing on the national team with them, Orlando Peter and so forth. It's the same thing. So a lot other clubs do have players that they can learn from, and it's a good thing when you have players like that, because you can see young players now emulating someone that can come up and
it's very important. But like you guys, both of you mentioned in the beginning, you have to want it, and you have to place yourself in a position where you can absorb the knowledge and utilize it to your benefit at the end of the day. If you fail to do that, that's on you. But that kind of environment is only gonna help the club to develop. Now you guys have been accustomed to winning so frequently. When you go out there to play, do you have a chip on your shoulder and feel that, this is it? No. Or do you take every competition as if it is the hardest match that you ever played?
We take every competition as it's the hardest match we've ever played. Even though we have the little, we could,
you feel you have the edge,
we
but
still go to dominate.
Yes.
We still go to try to make, a name for ourselves. As I said, we want to get higher places. We just don't want to stay in Antigua and just play for the burden. We want to get to the next level. So that's the brand of cricket that we go and play. We go and play very, very hard cricket. At the beginning, like last season, every game that we went and played last year in Florida, we ended up getting fought as hard as we could. We didn't have a lot of our key players, and we missed out on the semi-final spot. And it was challenging. But we knew that this year we would come back stronger. And every time we go, we just play as hard as we can. If a team scores, if we score 200 runs, we tell ourselves we're defending 120. We tell ourselves we're defending 110. Because it doesn't matter how much we have on the board. We set small targets. We work towards it, and that's when we think it's amazing.
And that's very important. That's a good recipe for success. That is a good point to segue to recognize our sponsors once more. And our platinum sponsors are as follows. ACB Caribbean, Simply Smarter Banking. For over 4 decades, Antigua Commercial Bank has been partnering with Antigua Parish League Cricket. So we are asking you to stop in and visit them today for all your banking and financial needs. Seco Pharmacy, your one-stop vitality store. For all your supplies to keep the body in a vibrant and healthy state, visit Seco Pharmacy today. They are located on High and Temple Street. And last but not least, Plumbing Electrical Limited. For all your electrical and plumbing supplies, you can visit Plumbing Electrical today. Whether your needs are wholesale or retail, they have the quality and quantity to meet all your needs. And they're located in the Herberts and Potters community. Yeah, so guys, in terms of your ambition to reach the highest level, what sort of goal settings do you do? Kofi, I'll start with you. In terms of where do you want to be in the next 2 years? Do you do set short-term goals and long-term goals in terms of where you want to be as a cricketer?
Well, basically, every year your plan may change. Sometimes you have to see how the plan goes, and then you shift a bit. So right now, for example, my goal is to do well in the regional level, because last time my goal was to get a contract and get a retainer. I did get the retainer, so I'm here for 2 years. A year now, a bit of experience, so now it's time to step up the goal a bit. So now I want to make the 11 more often and, you know, get a chance to showcase my talent. So every year the goal changes, but I try to set small targets. You know, I try to set small targets with a large vision.
Good.
That's how I see it. Small targets with a large vision, so stepping stones. My goals, well, in general, I think your goal should be realistic too.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
very
so
important.
you don't put out too much pressure on yourself.
Right.
You know, you don't want to be too comfortable, so you don't put the bar too low, but you don't want it to be too high either.
Right.
So you pressure yourself, you know. In terms of like scoring runs and getting wickets and so forth, you know, for me, I want to score 100 every time I go to bat. That's my goal.
That's
To get 100 every time I bat. I know it's not realistic, but that's what I want.
right. So if you foul shot,
Yeah,
you're somewhere. Yeah.
So, you know, depending on the tournament, how many games I have to play, I don't really try to set like, I want 500 runs in this tournament. I look at hundreds. If I have 5 games, I want to score 200 or 300s.
Good.
You know, because I know, like I will get some runs in between. So I want to aim for 200s. If it's 10 games, I want 400, something like that. Because you know, when you get 100, you get confidence. The more you score, the more you get confidence.
Very much so.
I set my score runs based on hundreds, and basically bowling wise, you know, I just want to bowl tight. You know, I feel as long as you bowl tight, you will get wickets.
True.
So I work on bowling tight. Right now, I think my bowling is getting really good. You know, I've been working on a stop ball a lot lately, so I just try to be consistent with the bowling and wickets will come. And yeah, that's how I go about, you know, setting my targets.
The key is consistency. Well,
yeah.
I want to ask you, then they just recently concluded Caribbean tournament. You were part of the Leeward Island setup.
Yeah.
But you didn't get a chance to break into the final 11. But were you among the team? Were you around visiting with the team when they traveled out and play?
I was. I think it was just one game. I wasn't in the final 13. The first game, but the first, second, we played 5 games. So the first, second, fourth, and fifth games, I was traveling with the team.
Good. Mr. Nathaniel,
Yes, sir.
what are your goals and aspiration as a cricketer for the rest of the? Well, do you have short-term and long-term goals as we discussed earlier?
Ideally, everyone have a long-term goal. I want to play for West Indies. You know, that's not a secret. It would be lovely to play for them at least one of these days. But before you get there, you know, you have to break a few barriers first.
Yep,
I'm still
exactly.
on the verge of trying to break into Antigua team. You just have to just continue to try to be consistent and, you know, just keep it simple and just do the best I can. You know, once you break into that setup, you have the next venture, which is to get into Leewards. So everything takes time. It's a lot of steps that you have to take before you get there. And, you know, when it's not entirely in your hand, you know, you just know you have to be consistent, as Kofi said, and you know you have to continue.
Well, that's the key. As you say, when it's not in your hands, you have to make your performance speak for you.
Exactly.
So that is where the focus and commitment comes in. And you have to set yourself targets and do whatever you want to do, whatever you need to do to meet those goals.
Targets and that. So
Yeah.
that's basically it.
Ironically, both of you are all-rounders.
Practically the same.
You bowl off spin, he bowl off spin. And how do you guys rate your bowling at this time? I know Kofi just spoke about his bowling has improved over the years. So what about your bowling, Amal?
My bowling has improved, but it's still here or there. I have to do a little more work to be more consistent with it. I find that this year, you know, the chances that I got to bowl, I bowled pretty tight, bowled pretty well. But I personally know that I have some more work to do with it. So all season, I definitely will put in that work. A lot of my emphasis, in all fairness, wasn't on my bowling. I've been focusing more on my batting, especially for the last 2-3 years, and that has improved a lot. And I just want to continue with it, but I also have to realize that I can't just give up the bowling. So more work will be put in with the bowling.
We're still waiting on Amal to get his first hit at 100. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So right,
You haven't scored that ton yet, Amal.
right now, the saying in Liberty is, you know, if you can't put your helmet to dry, well, you're not getting any hundreds. So, and he hasn't put his helmet to dry as yet, so
Keep
we're
getting
still waiting.
keep passing the halfway stage and
So that's a goal, Amal, that you need to set yourself. I mean, scoring a century is always...
yes, it's a very good feeling.
The good thing about getting a century, I always remember nursing Charlotte to his first century. Once you get the first one, the rest is going to be easy.
Definitely.
I remember distinctly when Charlotte made his first 100 at CV Farm, both of us were batting. And I think it was Fredericks was bowling to him. And he come down to me and say, he going to try. He was on 94. And he was so anxious. He was telling me he going to try and knock Fredericks off the ground.
Typical Walsh, man.
I say,
That's a Walsh.
just take it easy. You have already scored 94 runs. This last 6 runs, take your time and do whatever it takes to get the 6 runs. If you're going to try to hit a 6, that's
it.
taking a risk and the likelihood that you could get out. You want to make sure you button up the first 100, then once you get the first one, you'll see how easy the others come. And boy, he got the century and he was over the moon. No, he didn't. He didn't. But we had a lot of good times batting together, you know. So it was all good.
I will get my first Liberty 100 this season. I already told him that. I have 3 more games. Might even get 2. That's the aim.
But that's the goal. Getting the first one first,
That would
and
be
then
fun to see.
yeah. But in terms of the team camaraderie in Liberty, generally speaking, I know you guys speak about certain market players within the club. What about the other players? How do they fit in? How does the team operate in terms of unity?
Well, as you mentioned before, it's like a system, or I would say a brand of cricket you're playing. So the unity is like something that is the core. You know, it never really fades. The unity is always there. But right now we have a lot of players, even myself, who are not from Liberty per se. We have a few players that just came in from other teams, like Yuri from Common School, Amal from All Saints and so forth. And to getting players from outside coming in to a new team, in any team, you have to adapt to the team setting, adapt to the team style, the brand of cricket they play.
Exactly.
And right now, we recently just came off a rebuilding stage. As I mentioned, 2 years ago, we were just a lot of young players. You know, so as I mentioned, the Cleaton, the Stanley Simon, those players are now in other teams, and we have a fresh set of young players coming up. So it's a lot of work to be done in terms of
It's a big plus.
knowing each other personally, know what people like, what they don't like, how to operate, you know, so all that is a part of the unity. So, you know, we're just trying to get everybody to be on the same page, on the same level, on the same wavelength, on what kind of cricket we want to play and how we want to approach our games and so forth, and getting Liberty Blackhawks habit of winning and elevating to the next level, because that's what it's about, you know, preparing for the next level. So, you know, there's so much, you know, it's not all silver and gold, but we're getting there.
Very good. In terms of film sessions, have you guys had film sessions in some where you refer to maybe a match or certain games in the past and discuss it among yourself? Because we used to do that in our day, from time to time.
Actually, before I came to the club, that was one thing that was done. The games were filmed at Alberta, and you know there will always be the opportunity to go back and see
And critique.
what you have done. Coach will come in and talk to you. But sometimes at practice, you'll see the same thing happening as well. Kofi might say, "Hey guys, I want to do this today when I'm batting. So my last 3 overs or my last 16 balls, use and videotape me." Then after the game, you know, he will go and look at it, see what he did wrong. Probably go to coach and say, "Hey, coach, I realize this is happening. How can I do it?" Karima, I know for sure he normally does it, especially when he's doing certain drills. He records himself. So some of the players do it. I, for one, do it sometimes. If I have a problem, for example, if coach said, "Hey, when you're on driving, you had the body leaning over," I might think, you know, it's not true. So he would record it, and we will see. So we will have those sessions. You see that happening a lot during the off season. But recently, like currently, because of how the season's coming to an end, we're not really doing it at the moment, but it happens.
Okay. I know, you know, we always try to earmark a few of the school children to be part of the setup, even if they're not playing in the team, to have them around the club. Do we still have that going on in Alberta?
We have a few school children, well, teenagers, I wouldn't say children, but school players in the team. Some who just finished school, probably going to college or, you know, like, was getting a job or
Really
so. So there's a lot of young players. We have William Conwell Jr., Brent Joseph, Kemal Lake, Tyree Charles, who scored his first class 100 at the age was 17 or so.
Okay. That's very good.
Parish League 100 also. And then I think he got another 100 or 60 something. You know, so
who is that?
Tyree Charles, Mohammed grandson.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's very good.
And now we have young Michael Graves, our captain. He captained the team now, just finished school also. You know, so they're players around that age category that's still going to school also in the setup. Yeah, right now.
Good.
Definitely.
What is your next goal as it relates to your personal goal and the Liberty Cricket Club?
Me, my personal goal, well, being at Liberty, I've also had the opportunity to, you know, improve on my coaching. I'm a level 2 in Western level 2 coaching.
Oh, you're doing coaching as well?
Yes,
That's very impressive.
Although I play cricket, I still have my coaching background and my coaching aspect to work on.
Good.
I find that I've been doing it a lot. Especially recently, Coach Kenneth Benjamin allows me to do some of the fielding sessions at Alberta. He will allow me to control the batting nets at the moment.
Okay.
Sometimes he will allow me to run the warm-ups and will give me the opportunity to, you know, showcase my coaching talent to the guys, improve on it, give me pointers on things I can and cannot do. I also get that help from Winston Benjamin as well when he has his training sessions in the morning and learn from him, he gives me pointers. So I still have my coaching aspect to look forward to. So I look forward to getting better in the coaching. Eventually, maybe one of these days I'll be able to coach the Burgess senior team. After finished playing, I currently coach the girls, me and Melissa Laurie. We are coaching the girls at Alberta. They had a long break because of COVID. So it's about to start back soon. And then also playing wise, as I said, I want to play at the highest level, but I also want to bring more to Alberta. You know, tired getting 50s and getting up. So I want to, you know, push on to get some bigger scores for the club. And, you know, be very more effective and more efficient.
Well, the sky is the limit right now with cricket. I mean, and the remuneration for cricket is so handsome these days that, I mean, if you make it to the highest level, you know, you're well set. But getting there takes a lot of hard work. And as a matter of fact, it's much easier getting there now than when we played, because when we played, you didn't stand a ghost of a chance of reaching that level easily. I mean, the side was so compact with, you know, the greats like Viv and all those other guys through the Caribbean region. So breaking through to that level was always very difficult.
Not to cross you either, but yeah, it's a lot more opportunity now. You don't even have to be a professional cricketer in order to make it. Obviously, you have the coaching aspect. You could be a physiotherapist. You could be a manager for the cricket team. You could be the liaison officer. You could be a scorer.
Yep.
All of these jobs, you could commentate.
Yep.
By playing the game, growing up, not everyone is going to make it as a player, but you have other avenues, other areas that you can branch off in. And with the wealth of knowledge, you'll be able to take you, you know.
Well, how do you juggle your coaching, your playing, your teaching? How do you juggle these? Because it will call for some sort of time management.
Yeah.
So
But I already
how do you
have my
manage
days. I have my days when I know that, okay, Mondays, cricket practice. I get the cricket practice. On Mondays, Tuesday, okay, I do coaching today. Wednesday, I have cricket practice and coaching, so I practice early in the day, then go and coach in the evening. Sometimes I use one of the practice days as a day to work on my coaching. It's been a challenge, but
you have to set the targets.
Definitely.
So, in terms of the rest of the season, well, what is the level of cricket that's still left to be played? I know they're playing the two-day tournament at the moment. Is there any tournament to follow that?
At the moment, no. There's no more tournaments to follow the 2 day. So for the next 3 games, it's just to put our best foot forward and get big performances and to win another title. Going for the clean sweep this year.
Liberta has been dominating cricket for a number of years, and I can detect some jealousy in some of the calling in, some of the folks that have been calling in on these sports shows. How do you guys intend to continue that legacy of, you know, that winning ways for Liberta? In terms of getting the youngsters on board to have that killer instinct in terms of winning and being committed to the game to do so.
Every team this time on the weekday.
True.
And then another time on the win, and then the other time on the dominate. So, you know, it's a process, it's a cycle. You dominate, then from the other year or 2 years, in another year when you start winning, you're going to dominate again. So we make it a habit of winning. You know, we instill winning, making it a habit. So you get accustomed to win. You know, so when it
So he's losing.
Yeah. So when it comes to time to rebuild now, you know, we know that hey, there will be a time when we start to win again. So it's like a cycle. You know, you need the players to understand that also and to really learn it. Because as much as you can drive it into somebody, you know, teach them something, try to create a winning environment, create around the setup of the land.
Very much so.
And I must say the players now, we have some players that understand that we play for a while, that you know, the winning ways and so forth and how the team is run. And then, as I said before, we try to pull it to the younger ones now. Because I'm no longer teenager, I'm no longer one, and I'm a teenager now. So we have to pull them to teach them the winning ways, teach them the good habits.
Yep.
Because we don't have bad and good habits. So
Oh,
we try to
yes.
teach the good one. So, you know, and I was into that, the preparation is for the next level.
Yep.
Thinking that way, you want to reach the next level.
You have to step up. Yep.
You know, so yeah, individually, everybody perform, everybody step up the game and develop. The team will eventually develop. So yeah.
Well, I always make reference to the times when Liberta went through that rebuilding phase with the Cornwall, Jimbo, a lot of those youngsters. When a number of the seniors exited the scene, Liberta had a cadre of young players, the Jammers, Jimbo and so forth. The youngster there, our spinner, can't remember his name right now, but all those guys were part of that core group. And Liberty took a lot of licks during that period.
Coach always tell us about that.
Rebuilding for that. It took about 5 years, so Kadim and so to get that core group to start producing. And when they start produce, I mean, exactly.
Yeah, Coach, I do mind, like, tell us do that as an example. Like,
Yep.
So some, like, as Amar said, like, a year ago, 2 years ago, you were winning as much, but then he always said, hey, there were times when Liberty did worse than what we were doing.
No, true.
40 and 20 minutes and losing, getting embarrassed, even comments who used to beat them bad. So, you know, he has reminded us that times are going to come when we don't win.
Yep.
But you still have to keep focus and
Stick to the process.
Stick to the process. Because
That's the key.
what I remember, even though we were going through rebuilding stage, a lot of people were laughing at us saying we're making excuses. Because we won a few trophies still, even when we were rebuilding. So most teams didn't see it as rebuilding because we were still winning. But as I say, winning is a habit.
Yep.
So even though we were rebuilding, a lot of people thought like, oh, they just make excuses because they're taking licks. But because they saw us winning trophies still. But we were, we went through a rebuilding phase recently also. But because of the winning habit, we still end up getting a T10 championship and I think a part over in the midst of rebuilding the young people. You know, that's
it's always good to have the mix of youth and experience going through. And Liberty, I know, over the years, have that down pat, I must say. You always pull youngsters in the team. Since the days when Elvin Baptist came into the team, we've always had that setup. The one mistake that we made is when so many of the senior guys exited at the same time, and that core of youngsters that I just spoke about developed. Yeah,
that's one thing.
We want to avoid that going down the road, so you always have a mix of youth and experience going through to keep that balance.
But I do know what I would say as well is one thing coach emphasizes is anybody can lose the game. You don't
of course.
And beat, you don't want us lose. But it's how we lose the game.
Yep.
It's how we play the game. I will always remember that. I remember last year.
Very, very important.
3 games we lost to Bethesda. Jason had scored, came down to the wire, lost at the end. We lost against the Winchucks, defending a high total. Then last year we lost against Rising Sun, defending a high total. But out of those 3 games,
oh yeah, I watched that game with Rising Sun.
All to those days that we lost, coach was disappointed. He liked the effort that we put in. Wish we would have won. But at the end of the day, we've been on the move forward.
That's comforting, because that gives players the confidence that the coach have your back whether you win or you lose. But as long as you give 100%, that is what is asking for.
At times when we don't play well, that's where, as you mentioned, players players with knowledge and experience. That's where they come in. Like, we don't play, sometimes we make a mess of the cricket on the field. We might still win, but we know we didn't play well.
Right.
We took things for granted, probably going through the motion too easy, and that's where the coach and other senior players will step up like, hey, can't be complacent, even though you're winning or even though you're winning. So that's one of the reasons why we are successful, because we know when we have a bad game, even though we win, we don't ride on it. We say, hey, that game was a crap game. We won, but it was a crap game, so we have to improve on our attitude for the next game and win convincingly. Coach always uses the word convincingly. Try to win convincing as possible. When they don't, keep them down. Sometimes as players, we tend to sometimes ease up, but it's not a good habit to ease up. You have to go hard, and that's one of the things we're still trying to
instill in everybody.
Like, go hard all the time. Don't take anything for granted as small as you think the game is.
Very good. Before we close off, is there anything you guys want to share with the general public before we we call it quits?
For those youngsters out there who want to make it to the highest level, just keep going. Never give up. Keep fighting. You must put God first always, but make sure that you work hard. It's no shortcut to success. And especially in cricket, you have to put in the hours, you have to put in the work, you have to put in the time, the dedication. It's years of cricket, years and years of cricket. You must listen to your coaches, understand where they're coming from, watch a lot of cricket, and, just get advice, ask questions, feel free to ask questions. One thing that has stuck with me since I came to Liberta, and as I say coach, mention coach again, Kenneth Benjamin, he always say, find a routine. Find a routine, get your routine, and stick with your routine. Be consistent with it. This is what you're going to do. You come to the club. Whatever happened in the day doesn't matter. From the time you get here, you have a routine. And once you stick with your routine, okay, today the routine is 3 laps, stretch, boom, 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 get in bats and balls before you go into the session. If that's your routine, get a routine and keep going. And that can be something that you can carry out for success.
Very good advice. Kofi, any parting words?
Yeah, to the general public, those cricketers out there, whether young or old, there's a lot you can gain from being around the sport. As you mentioned, there's probably hundreds of different careers around the sport.
Yeah, cricket.
So never give up, never stop trying, never stop working hard and smartly. Always set goals, always trying to achieve them and reach the goals. You never know where or what you may become around the sport. To those young cricketers out there, don't take age simple. You might be young today and then 2 years time flies.
True.
You're not forever on 19. So try to learn as much as you can.
As quickly as you can.
As quickly as you can, and try to progress and develop and prepare yourself for the next level and the next level and the next level. Don't be too comfortable at one place, because as you look up and look down, time flies. People that were below you will pass you if you work hard than you.
True.
Even though you're more talented than them. So never stop working hard, never stop working smart. And one thing I always remember that the coach says, Kenny Benjamin, our coach, he always says, don't do things until you get it right. Do it until you can't get it wrong. So if
very good advice.
Hey, yes, I can now undrive, don't stop right there. Do it until when undrive comes, you can close your eye and do it. So never stop doing things until you can't get it wrong. And that's the last message I have to send to those youngsters. Do it until you can't get it wrong.
Very powerful message. Well, we have come to the end of another Antigua Parish League podcast. We'd like to thank our platinum sponsors, Antigua Commercial Bank, Seco Pharmacy, and Plumbing Electrical Limited. And we like to thank our viewers and listeners out there for listening in today. We look forward. This is your host, Trevor Simple Simon, signing out. We look forward to having you in our company next week. Good evening.